let's get to some best bets. We do this every week on the show. I'm hoping that we have a couple more weeks to make these bets. We don't want to go into off-season mode just yet. We didn't get any bets last week because we didn't do a stupid show because I lost my stupid job. So this week we're doing it, baby. How many bets do you have for us?
I have 3. I normally do 3 during the regular season. I've been doing a little bit more, or I did more during the wild card, but I'm going back to 3 because this game, again, I brought it up a million times. You just never know on either side of the ball who's going to be fed because it just kind of depends on what the defense is focused on. But my first bet, I'm going to start with my 2 bets from the 49ers, and then I have 1 for the Eagles. But my first one, I'm going to trust in our boy, our 7th round rookie quarterback. I'm putting trust in him, baby. I'm going over 1.5 passing touchdowns plus 125 odds. So you're making even more money back. I love this. If you put down $100, you win 125. And he's done it in 7 of his 8 games played. So last week was his first game not doing it. He actually had 0 passing touchdowns, but he's had multiple passing touchdowns in 7 of 8 games. And I've already brought up that, the Eagles have a good passing defense, but I brought up who they played against. Not really anybody. And these are the quarterbacks that put up 2 passing touchdowns against them. Dak, Justin Fields, Davis Mills, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers. If those guys can do it, I do believe Brock Purdy needs to get into the end zone twice here. With passing, I think to win this game, and I believe he'll do it. I really do. I think he gets 2 touchdowns. That's exactly where I think he has. So I'm going over 1.5.
And the best thing about Brock is his ability to create off schedule. And that's really what this offense needs, especially in the red zone, because Kyle's red zone offense it's a little shaky. There's not as much room to operate. There's not as much room to stretch the field the way Kyle likes to do it. So he has to change the way his offense operates, and they don't always cash it in when they get down there. But because Brock can extend plays with his mobility and make plays outside of structure, that's the location on the field where that comes into play the most. So I like it. I forgot about Brock's mini run he had of multiple touchdown games too.
Mini run, 7 straight games, 7 of his first 7 games. That's not a mini run.
What? It's not? What's a mini run? 3 games?
I mean, he can't go on any longer run, right? I mean, I guess he could have went 8 for 8, but
right.
7 of your first 7 games, it's pretty amazing.
All right. I like it. I'm on board. I'm on board with best bet number 1.
And what's awesome about that is that the 49ers are so good after the catch. So when he passes it backwards to Deebo or when he passes it 1 yard forward to Deebo and Deebo takes it to the house for 70 yards, that's a touchdown, baby.
They all count the same. What do they say? It's a line drive in the box score.
They need to start doing what Patrick Mahomes does, where it's just the little flick forward pass, just
the little shovel, the drop pass. Yeah,
I cannot believe that counts as a touchdown pass. It's still wild to me.
And not only that, but if the guy drops it, it's not a fumble. It's technically an incompletion. So there's no
Why
risk.
Don't more people do it?
I don't know.
Man, Kyle Shanahan should really come out with that this week. If they do that, I'm going to go crazy because we just talked about that. Oh my God.
We didn't see the reverses or anything like that, like the end arounds last week against Dallas. I hope they do more of that against the Eagles because those have been effective for the Niners. Sorry.
Yeah, they got to pull those out. All right, my next best bet, it's going to be Deebo Samuel over 4.5 receptions. Now, he's only done this in 2 of his 6 games or 2 of his 5 games played with Brock Purdy. So, looking back at the past, you don't feel great about this. But I think looking at the defense, this is why I'm thinking it has to be a Deebo Samuel game. We talked about how good the Eagles are at covering the downfield passes, but they're middle of the pack, kind of actually below average at covering those shorter passes, especially over the middle. And those shorter routes are all Deebo Samuel. That's all he does. So yep. I think they really pepper him with the ball. We'll see if he can get a lot of yards after the catch. That's going to come down to if the defense, struggles at tackling or not. But the great thing about this bet, it doesn't matter. He just has to catch 5 balls. And I think he will in this matchup, especially with CMC banged up. He's going to play, but that could mean even more usage for Deebo. So I'm going with him here if I'm betting on a 49ers wide receiver to do well in this game.
God, I hope we see playoff Deebo. Give me playoff Deebo because that is a different animal altogether. I almost wonder if because McCaffrey's banged up, do we see more of Deebo in the backfield as a runner? Because he seems to be out of Deebo, Elijah Mitchell, and Christian McCaffrey. I feel like Deebo's the healthiest out of those guys. I almost wonder if they say, We rather would have Christian expend his energy or whatever as a receiver, and Elijah Mitchell's got a groin.
Like
So
what is wrong with Elijah
he
Mitchell's
cannot stay healthy.
body?
I
Like,
don't
it's
know.
been one game. You've been back for a game. Come
The
on.
poor guy cannot. He just gets dinged constantly. So because Kyle's not going to give the ball to Jordan Mason in the NFC Championship game. So I
And I
think it
don't
might
even
be
want him to. Like, I don't want that. I'm mad. Okay, this is the thing. If CMC fumbles, okay, he's been so good for you. Like, you can live with that. If you actually hand the ball off to Jordan Mason just to try to get CMC a breather and he's the one that fumbles, that's going to be so hard to swallow and sit with that. Like, don't give the ball to him, please.
Speaking of fumbles, Michelle.
Oh my goodness.
How have we gone 43 minutes into the show and not discussed Ray McCloud's fumble last week? I was screaming at the TV.
I was feeling it too. Like, as soon as he started going, they're chasing him from behind. I'm like, hold on to that ball. And then it just came out. I will say he's made it the whole year, right? Without fumbling. So
without losing a fumble. He had 2 fumbles before this.
True. But, overall, he's been pretty okay with it. And then he did somewhat make up for it with that nice return afterwards. But yeah, Ray, hold on to the ball. Driving me crazy.
Ray, tuck it away.
Just call fair catch every time. I don't even care.
Please. Yeah. Oh, ever since you told me how much he fumbled when they signed him, literally every special teams play, I'm like watching like on the edge of my seat, just praying that he doesn't fumble. And then when it actually happened last week, which was huge, by the way, if Dallas scores a touchdown there, that changes everything. Getting a stop for the Niners D and holding them to 3 was massive because it enabled them to be in a spot where if Ray does have that long return like he did, the next time he touched the ball, they're in a position to get the lead back. But it could have been disaster.
Listen, I knew, of course he waited until the playoffs.
Right.
Of course.
You want it to mean more, right?
He just haunts me. I never will trust that man. Never, ever, ever.
For anybody that doesn't fully know what we're talking about, Michelle is a Steeler fan at heart. And Ray McCloud used to return for the Steelers all the time and had, I think, 12 career fumbles coming into this year. So she warned me when the Niners signed him, he's going to fumble the ball. And he did last week.
He did. Now, hopefully it's out of his system.
That's
and
right.
It doesn't happen again. And they got through it. That's all that matters. Now just hold on to it. But yeah, Ray. Oh, Ray.
Best bet number 3.
All right. I'm going with Eagles side now. AJ Brown. Over 70.5 receiving yards. Now, I don't know why they have it so low because they have his odds at -130. So you're not making a ton on the bet. But they do have an alternate bet, at least on DraftKings, of 75 plus receiving yards, and you get plus 105 odds there. I would do that personally if you can find that. But I'm cool with betting on either of these. Now, he only had 22 receiving yards last week, but he had 70 plus yards in each of the 6 prior games and 95 plus yards in 5 of those 6 games. We talked about it earlier. The 49ers are allowing the main wide receiver to have good games. Now, they're still winning, so it's fine. But over the last 5 games against the 49ers, you had last week CeeDee Lamb put up 117. The week prior to that, DK Metcalf put up 136 yards. Week 18, AJ Green had that one long reception basically, which was everything, but 91 yards. Devontae Adams the week before that, 153 yards. And then the week prior to that, Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson each had over 75 yards. So maybe this is a Devonta Smith game, but I do think AJ Brown is more that prototypical type wide receiver that can really hurt the 49ers and get that deep reception. So I'm going to go with AJ Brown here.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue it at this point. How long? That was a 45-second list that you just read off. And luckily for the Niners, that number 1 guy going off usually hasn't hurt them. In fact, they've blown out teams in some of those games. But like you said, it depends on what happens on the other side of the field. And the Eagles certainly have somebody that could hurt the Niners. But 70.5, yeah, I would feel pretty comfortable taking the over, especially like you said, if he gets one of those 30, 40, 50-yard plays, you can take this damn thing to the bank. And I still have nightmares about him cooking the 49ers in that Thursday night game against Tennessee. He was the only guy making plays, and the Niners literally could not stop him. Ryan Tannehill just kept.
I think he's one of the best wide receivers in the league.
Why the Titans did not want to pay him, I will never understand.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the Eagles are pretty happy about it.